Hey there, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's time to have a look and see what is going on when it comes to your monthly astrological forecast for April 2024. And if you are into weekly astrological updates and highlights, you might want to come back on a weekly basis, or for that matter, just subscribe, because I also do that as well on this channel in addition to weekly tarot. And if you happen to be watching this before the end of March 2024, I've got my 2 weeks equinox sale going on right now, 20% off 1 hour sessions with me. And so if you are interested in getting a reading, might want to head on over to my website, integrativemysticism.com, and schedule yourself a session. So what is going on when it comes to your April? April is all about new blank canvases for everybody. But for you in particular, this is going to be focusing primarily on your home life, home economy, your living situation, family, future security, as well as what you might call your legacy of sorts as it relates to your living arrangements, home-based business, and, what marks you make on the world in that way. The structure of your world and its stability. And it's all gorgeous here for you. In fact, a lot of this is just because of this cluster of planets that we've got going on in this part of your chart, your fourth house. We've got a solar eclipse new moon here on the 8th. The sun is here at the start of the month. Mercury is retrograde here, the 1st through the 25th. And Venus is entering this part of your chart on the 5th. And so we have a lot of activity going on here that's also going to be impacting many other corners of your chart. So let's start with the solar eclipse new moon in the fourth house for you. This is all about new beginnings, fresh starts, and new commitments, as all new moons are. But because it's a solar eclipse, it's exponentially amplified, and it's starting kind of a 3-month arc for all of you here. So from April 8th up until July 8th. And for a lot of you, this is a big turning point. A lot of you are setting up for a brand new future as far as your living situation, your family is concerned, or your home economic situation is concerned, or maybe all three at once. And there is this migration kind of feel, whether it is, literally in terms of moves, or figuratively onto, let's just say, a more golden road or into a better set up space for all involved. This is a time where a lot of new commitments, new income streams, and new security is coming to you and your family, but you are going to need to be ready to make certain rearrangements to the way you have your world set up, because it is a solar eclipse and it's going to need some room. And again, this is not just for April. This is a big theme of April 8th all the way up through early July. We also have this Mercury retrograde doing a lot of revision work on things that have been going on in this part of your life. Mercury retrograde is all about revisits, retrievals, reversals, revisions, and even things that could do with a bit of a rearrangement themselves. Now, of course, with Mercury retrograde, we have the textbook, stereotypical, more banal stuff going on, right? A little bit of snafus here, mistakes, the commonplace stuff. But there can also be happy accidents that occur with Mercury retrograde, hidden opportunities because of revisions and reversals. Certain plans or certain household arrangements, childcare arrangements, things like that might get kind of messed up this month, but at the same time, it could be getting messed up by something that turns out to be better than the way we're used to doing things. This could also be a time where you get a chance to reverse or undo things that have been problems for you or your family or your relationships with your relatives that have their roots back in the past because of that reversal focus. Even things that you wish you could unmake, things that got established, or even things that you did yourself or had done unto your family or brought into your home or your space. Reversing and unmaking those misfortunes, also a really good thing to have with Mercury retrograde in the fourth house. The Sun and Venus here are also setting you up to migrate yourself and your living situation and your family down, again, more prosperous roads, whether this is literally a move, again, or figuratively. But Venus is also helping you to plant new roots here as well, especially when it comes to getting more established with romantic partners. Those of you who are maybe in romantic relationships, but you might not live together yet, that might be, what Venus helps you plan to do as we go further down the road. Some of you may be deciding you want to expand on your family a little bit, and home-based business operations are also going to be booming during this time. And even relationships with relatives and friends you consider family are going to be thriving. We also have Mars in Pisces all month long. This is your third house of communications, contracts, pacts, promises, as well as third-party help and collaborators. And when we have Mars in the third house, this is a month where you're going to be getting hooked up by a lot of people, because Mars in the third always turns our contacts, our network, and our friends into sort of champions for our cause. They come in and they help us find things that are difficult for us to find, or maybe we're not even looking, but they know exactly what we need. This is also a time where we are getting hooked up in terms of maybe advice, resources, people running missions for us, so to speak. And this is also going to be a wonderful month for a lot of you that have been maybe looking to get connected through your network to bigger opportunities, both in your professional life and in your personal life. You're also going to find with Mars in the third house, this is an optimal month for also breaking and ending any kind of contract or commitment or attachment situation that has been proving to be an obstruction in your life, or been creating problems or a binding influence or a limitation in your life somewhere. We've got the Sun and Venus moving into Taurus at the back half of the month, and this is your fifth house of romance, recreation, creativity, your relationships with your kids, and personal enterprises. And when we have the Sun move in here on the 19th and Venus joining the Sun as of the 29th, we've got an opportunity to bring a lot more play into these parts of our world, bonding us closer with our kids, if you have kids, bringing in more fun and recreation and levity into our relationships with our romantic partners, whether this is about getting us out there, seeing the world, maybe even bringing back a bit of wholesome simplicity, the things that have become maybe a little bit overburdened, things that we've been missing out on, or things that have just gotten overly serious. And we also have Venus bringing in kind of a honeymoon phase for you Capricorn people to enjoy here. Whenever we have Venus in either houses 5 or 7, in this case for you 5, there is a chance to, enjoy a nice honeymoon 3-week period with our partner or with our sweetheart. Or for a lot of you, if you are single or available, maybe entering a honeymoon phase with somebody new. And that will not just be for April, that's also going to be a big theme of May. Finally, we also have a full moon in Scorpio happening on the 23rd. And this is in your 11th house of friendships, community, and your support system. And in the 2-week window period following, this full moon in Scorpio can end an association, a friendship, or maybe a connection you have to a certain group or community. Some of you may be finding that a situation where an association that's already been hanging by a thread, maybe it's a friendship that's already on thin ice, maybe it's a group you're a part of, a team that you're on, you're going to be getting the notification that this full moon is going to be cutting them loose. This can also test a fractious friendship or a connection that is either on the rocks or volatile or not healthy enough to stand on its own. And this could be, putting that connection to the test. But I think that sometimes we need to see those things happen. And for the most part, rest assured, full moons in the 11th house are not surprises. This is one of those moments where it's like, as it comes, you kind of already see it coming. You already know who it is or what connection it is. It's like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. But it still might be a difficult period, as we go through this process. But sometimes that pruning, that clearing, is for our own good. So that is what I've got for you Capricorn people. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And should you ever wish to get a session with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.